Today we are going to look at the HiBREW H10A. Now this is a machine that has been pretty highly requested in the comments, and a lot of people are curious to see what is this machine all about and why are people talking about it on the internet. So I'm just going to do a review on the machine. I'm going to tell you everything I've found out so far. And yeah, I'm just going to start by talking about the build quality. We're going to make an espresso. We can make a cold espresso with this. We can adjust the temperature up here and make also something with a lighter roast. We'll test out the milk steaming and all that stuff. When I first received this machine, and HiBREW did send it to me, by the way, I got this machine for free, but when I received it, it was really in a very light package. The entire package, including the machine and these accessories, was 6 kilos or 13 pounds. So this machine itself is, I think, right around 4.5 kilos. So it's right around the same weight as a DeLonghi Dedica. It's very small, very light, easy to pick up. You can pick it up, you know, with one finger if you want to. It is what it is. They claim that it's made out of stainless steel, and it is magnetic. So some stainless steels are magnetic, others are not. Usually the high quality stainless is not magnetic. Now, I checked for continuity on the chassis of this machine as I was checking for grounds. And actually, if you measure from 2 spots, there is no continuity on here. So what I feel like is that there is also some kind of plastic coating on top of it. But yes, it is magnetic, so therefore it is metal. What are we working with? Why is this machine so popular? The main reason, it's really twofold. One, 58mm portafilter. Everybody is excited about a 58mm portafilter. I have to tell you, I don't care about 58. For me, it can be 54, 53, 51. I have used 54mm portafilters at cafes before from Dalla Corte. You know, 58mm in my opinion is not the industry standard. La Spaziale uses 53, and a lot of other manufacturers don't necessarily use 58. But this does come from the E61 brew group, and that is what has made this so popular. One thing to mention is that you see 3 ears here, or 3 tabs to lock this in, which is a little bit unfortunate because I have a bunch of portafilters that are 58 and they have just the 2, and therefore I can't do any bottomless shots with this machine for you guys. It comes with this double basket inside. In there fits about 15 to 16 grams of dark roast coffee, like medium to dark, or a bit more light roast. Come back to that later. Also comes with 2 more baskets, one single non-pressurized basket, as well as a pressurized one, a 2-cup basket. I'm not going to be demonstrating that one today. It comes with a tamper, which is quite nice, and the tamper it's a pretty decent fit. It's not a perfect fit, but it's pretty good. And it also comes with this branded HiBREW milk pitcher, which is nice. It's actually a pretty nice milk pitcher. So you get all this stuff here in the box for a pretty reasonable price, and that's one of the main things. Okay, the 50mm portafilter, the price, and then also the PID. And I did open up this machine and took a look to see what's inside. On the thermal block, there is in fact a thermal probe, which would indicate a PID. Now, of course, you have to take that with a grain of salt. I find that thermal block machines, and this one is no exception, are still not very stable with the temperature. I did a temperature reading this morning, and you know, it increases in the beginning, it dips down quite a bit, all the way down to like in the low 80s, and then goes back up to the 90s, even all the way up to the 100 at the end. And so I feel like there's just, I don't know, too much hysteresis or something going on with thermal blocks. They're not able to react quickly enough to the thermal probe. Really, boiler machines do much better in this regard. The only thermal block PID machine I've seen be really just rock solid accurate, to be honest, is the Espresso Steel Duo PID.
Getting value from this video? Please take a moment to like and subscribe.
But nonetheless, you can set up different temperatures, which is convenient, and this also doubles as a shot clock, which is super nice. So you see when you're doing your shot, how long it's taking. Same thing for steaming. So when you're steaming, you also see how long, and I think that's really nice. The machine is intuitive, so if you want to set your volumetric dosing, all you have to do is hold down the single cup button, and that is 35 milliliters, by the way. Then it will go back. Okay, set. And same thing for the 2 cup. Just press on that for a little bit, and you can change it 70, 75, and so on. Those are milliliters of water when the pressure system does not have any coffee in here. So when it's under no load, that will be 75 milliliters it will pump out. Then if you hold these 2 buttons for a couple seconds, you can set the temperature. So you can go 92, 93, 94, 95. That is the max. You can go down to 90, and you can even go down to 25 and do a cold brew. So we're gonna try that as well. Let me put that back to 92 because that's what the beans are suggesting that I use. I'm using the Lavazza Super Crema today. In addition, you can set the steam temperature. So I've got that set at 135 degrees right now. Yeah, so the working of the machine is quite intuitive. To set the pre-infusion, just press the power button and the 2 cup button for a couple of seconds, and then you can choose the pre-infusion. So I'm gonna put that up to 6 seconds, and it's saved. So, nice, intuitive machine. It's kind of nice that it's magnetic so that you can hang stuff on there. That's kind of convenient. The steam power is very good. We'll take a look at that in a moment. We have a drip tray here, which is quite minuscule. If you can see that there, it is a very small drip tray, but should get the job done. And you can actually see through the bottom of the machine. That's kind of interesting how they do that. As far as the drip tray is concerned, being small, this machine does not have any 2 or 3-way solenoid inside. So it does not cool itself down automatically. You gotta do that on your own. So no water will be cooling down the thermal block and exiting down into here, into the drip tray. That is one of the reasons it can be so small. Let's have a look here on the side, by the way. That is the right side of the machine. That's the left side of the machine, and here you see the dial here. If you're in coffee mode and turn the dial, you get hot water output. And otherwise, to get into steam mode, all you have to do is press that button, and we'll try that soon. Another thing to mention, it's got a manometer on here. So the manometer is quite nice. I think it's filled with oil or with water, and it makes it kind of like nice and shiny. So the manometer looks cool. It would be nice if it actually had like bar readings on there, but it doesn't. Here's the water tank right there. There is no water sensor, as you can see in there. So you do have to monitor the water on your own. With all that being said, let's just go ahead and make an espresso. So I've got 16 grams already measured out here. That's a medium to dark roast, medium to dark roast. That's the Super Crema by Lavazza. That's this guy here in this handsome blue bag. And then I've also got a medium, I call that a medium light roast here by Martin Müller. And the funny thing is, although it's 16, 16, and 16 grams, you can tell just based on the level here that this is denser, this is heavier. So you can fit actually more weight of a lighter roast into your portafilter than you can with the darker roast. Lifestyle Lab did a really concise, really good video on that. I will try to remember to link that in the description down below. All right, so let's just go ahead and make ourselves an espresso. For that, I'm gonna use the DF54, and I am set at 17.5 here on the grinder. I got this new portafilter holder here by Normcore, which is pretty cool. I can kind of do it hands-free. However, with some portafilters, it's totally straight. With others, you have to lift it up a little bit to get it nice and straight for tamping. So let's see how this machine does. What I will say is that this locks in nice and tight, and I have had no issues with leaks here at the gasket, between the portafilter and the gasket, and I oftentimes have problems with leaks with Gage machines. So I'm glad to report that this machine so far has just worked. All right, so this time what we're gonna do is aim for a 1:2 ratio. So I'm gonna go for 32 grams out. And something you may have noticed is that I have removed this double spout for the reason that there's just simply not enough clearance underneath there with a scale. So what are you gonna do? Here we go. I'm gonna stop it at 32 right there. That is 32. Yeah, and as you can see, there is no solenoid valve there to cut off the pressure off the portafilter. But there's our espresso right there. Pretty full of crema. It's kind of what I was expecting. Let's just give that a stir and a quick taste. And then we're gonna move on to cold brew. That's crazy. Pretty good body. You can feel the thickness of the espresso on your tongue. It's a spicy blend, and it's got a bittersweet chocolate for sure. You're supposed to taste a little bit of brown sugar in there. If anything, I taste just something toasted, maybe toasted hazelnut. It does a fine job. Now let's move on to the cold brew espresso. I haven't tried that yet, and I'm quite curious. Okay, it says it's hot. Therefore, because we're doing the cold brew, it wants us to cool it down. So this will be quite interesting to see what the cold brew is all about. And then we're gonna set it at the hottest temperature and try out a lighter to medium roast and see how that does. Really not so sure what to expect here with the cold brew. Yeah, as you see there, it's absolutely full, 16 grams, and that basket is full when it comes to this darker roast. Cold brew, 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, 32 right there. Let's see how warm that is. 40 degrees Celsius. That is definitely more acidic, but I think that for people who want to make summer drinks, just pour some espresso over ice and maybe add some milk or cream or some syrups, then they can do it that way and it won't melt the ice. So that's actually kind of interesting what they've done there. Now let's go on and do a light roast. And I think we'll notice we could actually fit more in here if we wanted. So I'm going to do my WDT, and just as before, and I think it's going to be a little bit less volume in there because it is a lighter roast. Yeah, you see there's less sticking out from the top. I don't have to be as careful when inserting my tamper because there's less volume popping out. Anyhow, let's see how this extracts. A lot of thermal block machines kind of suffer with lighter roasts, so let's see how this one does. Not looking too bad. Pretty nice color there, actually. 25, 26, 7, 32. So let us see how this one did. That's a pretty respectable job, actually. This one, I had tried on the Bambino Plus, the same exact bean and roast. Way too sour. And this machine, actually, I'm pretty impressed. It's got that acidity in there for sure, but it's much more pleasant and way less of that unpleasant sourness. I almost get, I'm not sure. This blend is certainly more on the fruity side when it's extracted just right. In this case, I'm getting sweetness that reminds me a little bit of something like a pineapple. You know, that kind of sweetness together with the sourness. It's quite pleasant. Yeah. So there we go. It is able to actually increase the temperature enough for that particular bean, which is a good thing. I'm impressed by that. So it might not be able to hold the temperature totally steady, you know, but it is able to at least bring it up high enough to extract something as light as that bean there. The last thing that I want to do is go ahead and steam some milk. Now I find that this machine really does a good job steaming milk. I'm quite impressed with it. I'm gonna warm up my cup here a little bit. And what I want to do is, I found lately that doing a 1 to 1.5 ratio does help actually to make latte art a little easier. So let's do that. All right, so I've got 16 grams in. I'm gonna try to cut it off right around 23, 24 grams. For this one, I actually can put those spouts back on. And here we go. Oops. Got a little carried away with filming there, but I think I got 25, 26 grams. It's quite a nice dark crema there. And now, let's steam some milk. See how long it takes to get, 95 degrees. I forgot to set the temperature. All right, let's purge and steam. I do find that it's got quite a bit of power. It's easy to get a vortex. I would say this is just about as easy, almost as good as the Bambino Plus as far as the milk steaming is concerned. I do really like that it's got that counter on there. It's just nice to have one more data point. All right, that is getting plenty hot. And that milk is looking nice and silky, like paint. So yeah, this machine is very capable. It's hard to do it underneath the camera. The machine is more than capable of making really silky milk. I'm impressed by that. And that is what the cappuccino looks like right there. So we got a cappuccino, we got a light roast, a cold brew espresso, and a normal espresso. It doesn't go back to coffee mode, so I actually have to deselect it. Now it's telling me it's hot, so it's got to cool itself down. Doesn't do it automatically like some of the other machines do. The Bambino Plus or the new Longhi Maestro Plus. Okay, stopped at least automatically, back down, and I'm going to reset that at 92 degrees. Excellent. All right, let's have a look here in the HiBREW H10A. The water comes in here from this inlet and goes to a pump, which is down there. It's hard to see. I believe that is an Ulca pump, would be my guess. And then there is this overpressure valve here. So if the water is within a correct amount of pressure, it's going to come up here and enter the thermal block. Goes through the thermal block and gets heated up, and it exits over here on this side. There is also a temperature probe in there. You can see these two black wires here. Those two black wires go to a temperature probe. It exits here through this fitting, and so the fitting is a splitter essentially, with one going off to the manometer. It's pretty clever. I wish Longhi would do that as well. And then you got the other one that goes to the brew group. The brew group splits into two ways as well and goes here to the hot water outlet. So if the hot water outlet is closed, then the brew group will get the pressure. Otherwise, if the hot water outlet is open or the steam mode has been selected and this is open, then it's also going to go in this direction. So this goes down then to the steam wand or hot water outlet, which is down here. And that's really all there is to it. There is no three-way or two-way solenoid in there. And I don't see how you would be able to adjust that overpressure or anti-drip or safety valve, whatever you want to call that down there. Not really a good way to get to it until you take the whole machine apart. So that is the HiBREW from the inside. So, facet of the machine. What do I like? What don't I like? Who is the machine for? Let's talk about it. When I first opened the machine up and felt how lightweight it is, I was honestly disappointed. But you know what? It has just worked for me. I haven't had any problems with it like I do with some other machines. And it's made me a pretty nice espresso, excellent milk, can make a cold espresso. It actually gets up high enough for a lighter roast. I think it's hard to go wrong with the machine, and if you're just wanting to get into espresso, but you still want to experiment a bit, and you want to try different roasts, and you want to practice, you know, your latte art, I think it's a pretty good machine for that. As far as longevity goes, who knows? I've only had the machine for a little bit, but yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Comparing this to other machines like a DeLonghi Dedica or Bambino Plus, I mean, this is cheaper than the new Dedica. It's cheaper than the Bambino Plus. Of course, HiBREW has not established too much heritage yet, but I mean, it does offer quite a few features for the price, and yeah, the results are good. All right, guys, I hope you liked the video, and if so, give it a like. If you thought it sucked, give it a dislike. Whatever the case, until next time, I say happy coffee drinking and happy espresso drinking.